My father, Joe Olds, grew up in a place they called the Flats on the Siksika Nation. He was an athlete his whole life, a track star, and an excellent baseball player, and a cowboy. But there were some things about my father I didn't know. He didn't talk about how he was feeling because of residential school taught him to hold everything in. I think that is why we were so shocked when he was suddenly diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Even if he knew something was wrong, he kept it to himself. None of us wanted to believe it, and even when my mom was told to look for a hospice, we all still thought he would get better. He had to. He was the patriarch of our family, always teaching us and guiding us. We needed him. He couldn't stay home because he had serious infection and couldn't walk, but he knew that we would visit him every day and wanted to help the family by being closer to home. Luckily, we found a bed at Bassano Hospital. Every day when I went to visit, there was already many people there, spilling out into the waiting room and the hallway. One day it seemed like 100 people were there, and my auntie noticed the janitor had to keep coming back and forth to mop the muddy floor. She asked if he could just leave the mop with us. We would keep the area clean. My father had always taught us to respect the places we were. He was very connected to the land and his culture. He was an honored and respected member of the Sacred Blackfoot Society. Every morning and evening he would smudge. His sacred bundle was always above his bed. We were worried that he would not have access to his secret items in the hospital. But we were wrong. The head nurse allowed us to tie his bundle above his bed. The maintenance person, Chris, would shut off the fire alarm in his room for a few minutes every morning and evening to allow him to smudge. A traditional feast for society members and their family was going to be held at our home, but suddenly became sicker and had to go back to the hospital. All of us were devastated, but Dad most of all because he wanted the feast to be held at home. The site manager knew how disappointed we were, and we talked to her. She said she could help us hold the ceremony at hospital grounds. It all happened so fast. The teepee was set up in the lawn outside of Dad's window. The Siksika Fire Department set up a big tent for the feast, and one of the nurses figured out how to get my dad into the teepee for the ceremony. It was great to see my dad with his friends and family. There was a lot of photos and visiting. He was talking to everyone and smiling. It didn't seem like he was in pain. He was so happy. When everyone left and began to clean up, he wanted to stay outside with us. He kept saying, "Just a little longer, just a little longer." My father died 2 weeks later, with his teepee still outside his window. We will always miss him, but he lives in our stories. He was always teaching us, helping us, showing us what is possible. And he still is.